If everybody could grab a chair, to the extent that we have chairs, to the extent that we don't have chairs, if you could just give us your attention up front, that would be great. People hear me all right? Okay. All right. Well, I would like to welcome everybody for coming. And right off the bat, I think the first order of business is we need to present the colors. So let's ask the honor guard to present the colors.
Everybody stand up.
Please stand.
Honor guard, put. Forward, march. Work right. Oh, work. On. Forward, march. Detail, ho! Right face. Post the color. Present.
Let me know.
Two. Roll out, detail.
All right, everybody, please be seated. Thank you very much to the honor guard. Welcome, everybody, to the Elgin History Museum. My name is Alan Walters, and I'm the president of the museum. And I can't tell you how thrilled I am to see this turnout for Ernie. I'm going to, yeah. I'm going to say just a couple of things because there's more important speakers than me. But Ernie Broadnax and his family has been a friend of the History Museum for many, many years. And the History Museum has been a friend to the Broadnax family for many, many years. We were glad to have worked with him a few years back on the video. And we just cherish any time Ernie comes and visits us at the museum. So, the second thing I want to say is a little bit of a commercial. The Elgin Bluff City Cemetery Walk is coming up on August 18th and 19th, Saturday and Sunday. September. No, don't come in August. Come in September on the 18th and the 19th. And do you know...
Yeah, 1 week later, right?
My calendar is so screwed up. What days? All right, change your programs. 25th and 26th. And that would be in your September month. But the real news here is one of the characters being portrayed is, and you know who, right? Daniel Broadnax, Ernie's father, is going to be portrayed. And you will want to come and see that. So let's get on with the important speakers today. In your program, we have several folks who are going to get up right now and say a few words on Ernie's behalf. And let's lead off with Lester Broadnax.
All right. This is my brother, y'all. My big little brother. Hey, I'm just glad to see everyone here.
Pull off your mask.
Growing up on Fremont, enabled me to be, along with a lot of you, the recipient of a lot of things that Ernie showed. We got to go see the Harlem Globetrotters. We got to go to the Bud Milliken Parade. I mean, this back then, this was, hey, you know, you couldn't tell us nothing. But Ernie deserves this 20 times over. He's done a lot, not just for the kids, but for the city of Elgin as a whole. And growing up, why all of this was going on made me a better person. And I'm not as tough as Ernie. You know, he's in a class by himself. But I just want to say congratulations. You deserve every single minute. If it was up to me, it would be Ernie Broadnax month.
Thank you, Lester. And now we have to top that speech with others. Good luck. Your programs say that Phil Broxam is going to talk next. Phil's not with us today. Phil's the producer of the 231 documentary and worked hours and hours and hours with Ernie getting that put together. But speaking for Phil today is our own Bill Briska, a past president of the Historical Society. And Bill will talk now.
So Phil wrote up this little speech, which I'm going to try to mouth here in the best I can, and it runs 2.5 minutes. So it begins with, Ernie and I became friends during the production of Project 231, a story of Elgin's African American heritage. Ernie was the executive producer and host, and I was the director and filmmaker for the thing. That project was his dream and his inspiration. As director of the film, I learned so much from Ernie during the 2+ years it took to produce that documentary. I learned about the remarkable origins of Elgin's black community and the generations of families that followed. I learned about their struggles for equality and the ever-present discrimination they had to battle and endure as people of color in a predominantly white community. I came to understand that this affected every aspect of their life, from where they would live and work and how they could worship and socialize. I personally never experienced any of that because of the color of my skin being white. And I came to understand the depth and breadth of that discrimination. It changed the way I felt about myself, my community, and my country. My eyes were open to many things that I did not see or had even considered. That's what Ernie taught me. He's a teacher. That's at his heart. He understands the importance of teaching and sharing local black history and how that can change hearts and minds within the community. And he does so in a way that is gentle and kind and always with a bit of humor. Ernie is all about the community and bringing people together as neighbors. Neighbors who learn to care for each other because they've gotten to know each other a little bit better than they did before. Ignorance and fear are at the root of racial injustice and blind discrimination. I believe that Ernie understood that from a very early age and made it his life mission to teach, enlighten, and uplift the community he loves. Today, words like diversity, equity, inclusion dominate our national discussion around education. Ernie has been all about that for decades. His efforts to bring us closer will be felt for generations in Elgin, and because of that, it is entirely fitting that we celebrate Ernie with this proclamation today. I'm proud of you, Ernie, and so very happy to call you my friend. Enjoy this day. It's an honor you so richly deserve. Those are the words. Those are the words of Phil Broxam, but I think those echo the words of all of us that worked on 231 and on most of the people, because there's always one or two, who are standing here with us today. And that. So thank you very much, Ernie. You've done a ton, and let me turn it over to Al.
Our next speaker is Miriam Lytle, and she's here to pass a few words on from the Gail Borden Public Library. Miriam?
Thanks, Al. It's so great to see so many wonderful faces in person again. And what a celebration. Ernie, you always are the center of a party. That much I've learned. On behalf of the Gail Borden Public Library staff, and if you are on library staff, I see a number of people here. Please raise your hand so people know that we are well represented, including our CEO, Carol Nettle, here in the audience, and Andre Dyson, who has spent many hours filming Ernie in Studio 270. So I don't know if you've been to the library, but this is where Ernie holds court pretty much every day. He tells stories, he engages all sorts of people, all ages, and we love that. In 2010, the library won the Institute of Museum and Library Services National Medal, and we had to pick only one person to represent our community. That was a terribly hard choice to make. Well, guess who we chose and who decided he would come and talk about Elgin? Mr. Broadnax here. Do you remember what you did on the Diaz, Ernie, at the end of your talk? You were 75 years young. He stands up. Do you want to tell him here? Don't do it. Don't do it. Tell him what you did.
At the end of that speech and that great ovation I got, I wanted to salute the audience. So I took 3 big steps and I leaped into the air about that far off the ground, and no one could believe it. I didn't even believe it.
And he clicked his heels together. So Ernie, congratulations, happy birthday, and we're so happy that you are part of the Gail Borden Public Library family. Every day you're there. Thank you. Thanks, Al.
Thank you, Miriam. Here's another little correction to your program. The next speaker is Pastor Barry Jones. Don't believe what you see written. Pastor Jones?
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. It is indeed an honor for me to be here as the pastor of New Hope Baptist Church and Brother Ernie's pastor to help celebrate this day for a person who was really deserving of having a day such as this. Brother Ernie's been and his family have been a part of New Hope for 40 years, and I can tell you that he is a man that loves people. He was a member of our trustee board. He was our church clerk, which meant he did the announcements every Sunday, which meant he kept us laughing quite a bit. He was a great part of our men's ministry at the church, and he has been my friend down through the years. I can remember shortly after I became pastor of New Hope, Ernie came to me and he told me he had some things in his heart that he wanted to get documented and wanted to get acknowledged, and he wanted to know if we would help him. So our church, we tried to help him. We helped him to get it going, and from there he took it, and the rest of history. And so we are here to say thank you, Brother Ernie. I don't know of anyone else that would have had the knowledge of Elgin history, the knowledge of people in the community, that would actually even have the energy to even want to do this, and even to have the endurance. And he started out with no money, and he got people to buy into what he was doing, to buy into what his beliefs were, and soon the city of Elgin adopted it and began to pour money into it, and so he really kept it going, and it just exploded, you know, and it's known all over the country, and now he's known all over the country, and I'm glad he let me get a little bit of publicity also. I went out to the library one day, and I saw Ernie's picture on one screen, and talking, and then I looked around, he was on another screen, and another screen. And I said, well, you know, this man, I told him, man, you talking all over the place down here. But he loves to talk. He loves to engage with people, and I don't think he could really have gotten it done also without his loving wife by his side, Mother Broadnax. Let's give her a hand also. And, you know, it's in so many places, but I thank God that he's a member of New Hope, and I thank God that he allowed me to help Brother Ernie as much as I could. And so we are here today to say thank you, Brother Ernie. We're glad that you're getting recognized before you leave this earth for all of your work. You think about the settlement over there on Ann Street in Fremont, and that will be forever remembered. So you have a legacy to be proud of. And so I say today, God bless you, Brother Ernie, and heaven smile upon you. And happy birthday.
Thank you, Pastor. We do have some official government business we need to do today. And so let's call up first State of Illinois Representative Anna Moeller, please.
Thank you, Al. Good afternoon. It's wonderful to see so many people here to celebrate a great man, Ernie Broadnax. I was going to write a speech, but I thought I would just speak from my heart, and I'm just going to say a few words before I read this proclamation. One is to thank the Broadnax family for sharing Ernie with us, with our community, and for all the Broadnax family has done for Elgin. I know family is so important to Ernie, and he wouldn't be the man he is without his wife and children. So thank you so much for all that you've done as well. So I've had the great pleasure of being on the receiving end of many stories from Ernie Broadnax. He and I have traveled back and forth several times to Chicago to visit with Secretary of State Jesse White, to talk with him about Project 231, to talk about what Ernie's admiration for Secretary White and all that he's done for our state. And sitting in these conversations with these two really great men, Ernie is an equal with anyone, if not more so. And Ernie took it upon himself to have an award made for Secretary White that was personally, uniquely crafted by one of our local manufacturing companies here in Elgin. It was done by a world-renowned designer for Jesse White. But as I'm sitting there listening to this conversation, and Ernie telling Secretary White, you know, all the things that he's done in his life and what he's done here in Elgin, it struck me that Ernie deserves that recognition. You know, Ernie is our great man here in Elgin. I've learned so much from him about growing up in Elgin as a Black American and the struggles and challenges that he endured as a young man. It was incredibly important to hear those stories and to understand the resilience of the Black community in having to deal with the discrimination and the adversity. Elgin is a better place because of you, Ernie. And I'm a better person for knowing you, and I truly appreciate and love you and feel and am very enriched by you. So thank you, Ernie, for all that you've done for me personally and for our great city. And on behalf of the state of Illinois, thank you for what you've done for our state. Because of Ernie, children, adults, people all over the state of Illinois are going to understand the history, part of the history of Black settlement in Illinois because of Project 231. Because of his persistence, his vision, his passion for this project, every library in the state of Illinois has Project 231. So everyone, generations from now will be able to see that documentary and learn from Ernie Broadnax and his vision. So thank you, Ernie.
Thank you.
So on behalf of the House of Representatives of the 101st General Assembly, it is truly an honor that I read this to you today. Whereas the members of the Illinois House of Representatives wish to commend Ernie Broadnax for his commitment to the Elgin community as an educator and historian, and whereas Ernie Broadnax is a lifelong resident of Elgin and a descendant of one of the first African American families in Elgin. He was born in Elgin in 1935 and graduated from Elgin High School in 1953. He attended Elgin Community College in 1953, where he was the first Black basketball player and an award-winning member of the speech team. He served in the U.S. Marine Corps from 1955 to 1966. He married Eliza on February 28, 1965. He earned an Associates of Arts in Juvenile Corrections from Elgin Community College in 1974. And whereas Ernie Broadnax was employed jointly by the City of Elgin's Parks and Recreation Department and the Fremont Recreation Center, an Elgin United Way agency from 1967 to 1970, during this time he was the first Black person to have an office at Elgin City Hall. He worked at the Herrick House Children's Shelter under the Department of Children and Family Services from 1982 to 2000. And whereas Ernie Broadnax served as the executive producer of the documentary Project 231, a story of Elgin's African American heritage, which premiered in 2015 before being distributed to all 844 public and academic libraries in the state of Illinois in partnership with the Secretary of State in 2016. His documentary received a number of awards,